What's going on, everyone? So, Randall and Julie, they are two of the characters, along with Marielle, who ended up getting in that music box trance, that the nightmares that were going on in season 2. And you've seen these two have been the most vocal and seem to be the most messed up from the incident, right? And the two of them seem to now be kind of coping with each other, trying to kind of get over it and communicate. Like Randall even expressed to Marielle, like, hey, like you're walking around like everything's fine, like you're perfectly okay, like it's all sunshines and rainbows, and I'm just an absolute mess up here. I'm an absolute broken wreck, And he kind of justified it and said, well, it must be easy having a bunch, somebody else that you can confide in and sleep next to and stuff, talking about Christy. So then you see Marielle is like, hey, well, you don't have to be alone. Why don't you move into the clinic? So he appears to be moving in the clinic. And then Julie sees him packing, offers him some of the devil's lettuce. And you see that they kind of form a bond over that, right? Now Julie's just kind of like the tag-along. She's like the cleaning chick that won't leave, right? She asks like, oh, where are you going? I'll go with you. He's like, no. And she's like, okay, I'll put my stuff away, right? Like, just completely ignores him, going like, nah, I want to do what I need to do alone. But you see them venture off after Julie relays, like, hey, I don't know how to drive. When my brother died, I was supposed to go get my license, never learned how to do it. And so Randall, they steal the Colony House car, and they end up venturing off. And then Randall starts freaking out, seeing the cicadas as he gets close, or the little, cicadas, right? As he gets close to what is the ruins of the dungeon, right? Where Boyd ended up stumbling, where he saw Martin, ended up getting the worms. And then that's also where Marielle, Julie, and Randall were kind of locked away, at least their mental, their space capacity, right? And even, little side note, is, was Martin a spirit? Was he a projection, right? The body on the floor in that little cellar room, could that potentially be Martin? Did a whole video on that, so make sure you check out that video. But yeah, I did a whole video diving into, like, what if that's Martin? Because, like I said, as we saw, Julie, Marielle, and Randall, they were projected there, right? Like, and Boyd could get in there and he could touch the chains and all that, right? And had an interaction with Martin. Is it possible that Martin's body was in the cellar, but his, spirit or essence or whatever it is, was that projected into that dungeon? But nonetheless, right, they approached the dungeon. They were getting close to the dungeon, and you see Julie say, like, can you feel that? And Randall tries to kind of like just completely play it off, like, no, like, you're crazy, like, like, let's get out of here, but you can tell he senses it. He feels it. Julie can tell that he senses it and feels it, and they kind of mosey on out of there. But I find this very interesting because I don't think that that's where it's going to stop, particularly for those two. Now, question is, do they both go back there together? Do they go together? Because there's no way I don't see, Julie especially. There's no way that I see Julie and her curiosity and the way that she just kind of just doesn't really think it through, just kind of goes for things. Randall, at least, he's kind of like, that's the last thing I need. Last time I was anywhere near that place, I was in it, and it was the craziest nightmare of my life. It was worse than death, right? So Randall probably, and given Randall and his circumstances, right? I mean, he was just shredded by the monsters. You can imagine he's kind of like, yeah, like, I don't want anything to do with this, right? Like, last time I even tried to help or do anything, I ended up getting eaten alive, right? Or, so I want to get out. Where Julie, I could see potentially maybe pushing or maybe even kind of convincing Randall to, like, no, we have to go get answers. I don't see Julie in particular not at least investigating a little bit and just seeing what can she sense, what can she feel. Now, question is, what does that lead to? Is that the result, right? Does she end up potentially getting locked in there? Does she end up getting, like, because you saw Boyd needed the torch, right? Boyd had to go get the torch, go to the ruins, light the torch, and then he was able to go into the place, right? But what if Julie can just go, right? Like, what if she just steps into the ruins and then she's there? right? Because she maybe has a connection or has some time. Same thing with Randall, right? Maybe Randall can just kind of go and approach it and just kind of walk in and all of a sudden wake up and he's in there, right? There's definitely something to that. But I'm curious, like, do they continue to press that this season, or is that something that kind of leads into next season, right? Like, maybe Julie, I could see the next few episodes kind of, like, kind of trying to keep herself together to not really explore the curiosity, but then eventually you just see it continue to kind of get to her, kind of like that, like Fatima's hunger, right? It's just this itch that she needs to scratch, that she just can't get over. And so she just makes the foolish decision of going in. And again, like I said, maybe she gets stuck. Like, what if she gets trapped in there again and she can't get out? What if that's how the season ends, right? And that's kind of like the cliffhanger moment where she's just trapped in the dungeon. Maybe there's some other stuff going on too, but like, maybe Julie just decided, like, hey, it's a great idea to go check it out and investigate it by myself. And then she ends up being trapped, and the only one that can go save her is Randall, right? But he doesn't know where or how. He just kind of stumbles there himself. Maybe Julie's missing, and he's kind of like, man, like, all right, I gotta go try to help her, right? I gotta go try to save her. And then he just kind of goes to the ruins. And he's just like, I don't see her anywhere. Maybe he's investigating. And then maybe he just like kind of steps in himself. Is it kind of like a portal or a door for them? I just, I look at that storyline and I don't think it's just going to go nowhere. They didn't set that up. They didn't start to build that up to just not have something continue to brew with that. But I'm curious to see, like, kind of how that, like, what direction do they go with that? Is it a mystery that kind of unravels for Julie and Randall? Like, what kind of, because the thing is, it was the music box, right, that caused it. Well, the music box is gone. It's destroyed. So what else is there to unpack? What is there to unravel and unfold that both Julie and Randall could potentially unpack, right? Like, it's just as more likely, in my opinion, that they already went through it, right? Like, it was a dungeon that was inside their minds, that they were trapped there mentally and just living in hell. Like, I think that it's more likely that the story is just kind of done, right? Like, it's ruins now. Boyd put an end to it, got rid of the worms, got rid of, the music box, right? But they sense something. So what is that they sense? Is it just the negative energy and kind of like, the hell that they were in there, the hellscape place that they were in? Could it be that? Could there really be something that they need to unpack and around? Thing is, like I said, there's 3 episodes left. So I think if there is something more to it and something is building and brewing with that, it's going to be something that we don't get resolved till the next season, right? Like, we'll have to wait till the next season to really properly get this flushed out, is my opinion. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? First off, what do you make of the ruins and, the connection to Julie and Randall? Do you think that Julie and Randall's relationship is going to continue to grow, continue to build, maybe even in a romantic sense? Or is it something where, no, they're just connected through this, and that's all it is? Do you think that, that one of them, if not both of them, maybe even potentially end up getting stuck in the dungeon, right? Like I said, I think Julie is probably like the safest bet. Like, if I had to put some money on like somebody that would get themselves in a position like that, it would be Julie. I could see Randall just kind of wanting to avoid it at all costs, but he also might have not wanted to do it while Julie was there, right? He might have not wanted to run the risk or the chance of Julie ending up getting hurt or stuck or whatever, where it's kind of like, well, it's just me, then, I can't be responsible for her type thing. I'm curious to see how it plays out. Curious to see how it all goes. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are on this whole situation, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps one us. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.